Hey guys, it's me again, and I'm here with another video. Today we'll be concluding what if Impactor survived, or at least what if all the deceased wreckers from Transformers Prime survived, which will lead up to my theory video as to how they died in the actual show. But before we get into the story, comment down below as to how you think Impactor died prior to the events of Transformers Prime. Now, let's begin, shall we? So, Impactor Transformers Prime was confirmed to have died prior to the events of the show, according to Wheeljack, or at least I believe so. I mean, I know Wheeljack said that he died, but I'm not sure if it was prior to the show. But somehow Impactor doesn't die, and now we need to kickstart things. Remember the episode Con Job? Yeah, Wheeljack said that some of the original crew may still be out there. Some of the original record crew. And Impactor might have been one of them. Same thing with others like Roadbuster, Pyro, and Rotor Storm, but I doubt it. I mean, Roadbuster maybe, but Rotor Storm and Pyro, I don't think so. But let's just get into things the right way. So, let's get to the episode Operation Breakdown. Mech wouldn't have just captured Breakdown. They would have captured another bot who would have crash landed prior to the events of that episode. Impactor. And Bulkhead would be wanting to help in the mission more because Impactor, a former wrecker of his, has been captured. The only problem is he wants to do it with Wheeljack, but because Wheeljack is off-world, he's going to have to do it by himself. And so Bulkhead is left with no other choice but to help Knockout save Breakdown. Either way, the episode ends with Bulkhead getting Impactor out, while Knockout gets Breakdown out. But Breakdown and Impactor have a history with each other, as Impactor and Breakdown were once members of the Wreckers before Breakdown joined the Decepticons. I'm going to say Breakdown was a former friend of Impactor, but he was assumed to have died when in reality he was sent to the Decepticons after he was captured by one of them. I would say one of these Decepticons might have been Skyquake. I thought Dreadwing at first, but knowing they didn't know each other until the events of Season 2, it didn't make any sense. But throughout most of Season 1, it's mostly the same, except Impactor tries to reason with Breakdown, and wants Breakdown to come to his senses. And then when you get to Season 2, Breakdown would not die. Instead, I think maybe another Decepticon would have died. Like, I'd say maybe Demolisher. Like, I think Demolisher would have had to be introduced in probably an episode after Operation Breakdown. Maybe that episode, the Polarity Gauntlet. I have no idea, but maybe that could work. And Impactor would know Demolisher, and so Arachnid would end up killing Demolisher. I mean, Demolisher was planned to be in the show, so I guess it makes some sense. And so, Breakdown feels guilty about the death of Demolisher. Now, what about the episode Loose Cannons? I mean, this is where Wheeljack would still return to Earth after the death of Seaspray, but instead of mentioning Impactor as a deceased wrecker, I would see Top Spin and Leadfoot being mentioned instead. But Breakdown would start having second doubts about the Decepticons after Demolisher's death. And of course, Breakdown would defect to the Autobots. Like, I would probably say the episode Toxicity, where Breakdown, Wheeljack, Bulkhead, and Impactor are fighting Hardshell, and Kickback and Sharpshot. Yes, the Insecticon trio from the War for Cybertron games come together. Now, while Sharpshot is killed, Kickback and Hardshell escape, while Bulkhead still suffers his condition. And then the episode Her comes along, and Breakdown is fixing things with Impactor. And they come along with Wheeljack to fight Hardshell. Oh, and Miko too, still. The episodes throughout the rest of season 2 would then remain the same, except Megatron, he'd just be a little upset over Breakdown defected to the Autobots. But he kind of accepts it. But he decides to find a new Decepticon partner for Knockout. That would be Drag Strip. Or better yet, Dead End. Apparently, Dead End would be more argumentative with Knockout. And Knockout wishing, I wish Impact or Breakdown were here. I wish Breakdown did defect to the Decepticons. I mean, Autobots. But either way, Knockout would probably have defected to the Autobots, like I'd say, maybe mid-season 3. But Ultra Magnus would have brought some backup with him, like Twin Twist, Warpath, Perceptor, Sandstorm, and Broadside. But then we get to, I would say, Predacons Rising. Which I'm going to be honest and say, I think Dead End would have become a Terracon zombie. Same thing with Silas, who would now be in control of Demolisher's body. And so the events of the original plans for Predacons Rising happen with Arachnid and the zombie, Insecticons, Zombie Demolisher, and Zombie Dead End start to come to Cybertron with the Unicron-possessed Megatron. And of course, some bots die, like Broadside, Sandstorm, and of course, Impactor. No, not Impactor. Breakdown, who sacrifices himself to save not only Bulkhead, but also Impactor. And once Arachnid is gone, along with the zombies, aka the Terracons, I would picture Arachnid dying akin to Belos in the Owl House, and Megatron still being broken free of Unicron's control. There would be a moment when Breakdown dies. He says his final words to Bulkhead and Impactor, as well as the rest of the Wreckers that are still alive. As Breakdown says his final words, kind of like Dinobot in Beast Wars, the spark then goes offline. Breakdown has redeemed himself, but at the cost of his own life. And Knockout could say something like, "Don't worry, Breakdown. You deserve better than this." Yeah, reference to Alpha Trion Transformers 1. But Optimus would still sacrifice himself to restore Cybertron. So that's What If Impactor survived. That's all for What If the deceased Wreckers and Transformers Prime survived, excluding Sea Spray. But anyways, I will see you all later, and stay tuned for how did the Fallen Wreckers die.